Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum Podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
We have some stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah.
I'm excited. We got some stuff going on, you know?
Things to fill in a docket. Things to talk about.
That's right.
Games review.
But as we always do, we start our podcast off with weeks, which is where we talk about our weeks. Go figure. So, Rugrat, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. Of course, we did MMO Monday just yesterday, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Bring that up. I'm still doing the Skyrim playthrough. I don't know because I've played it so much. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it to beat it.
Yeah.
It's going to take a long time.
I understand.
I may at some point in the future be like, all right, that's enough of this, start a new character and just use every exploit I can look up.
Yeah. Time to do the opposite run.
Yes. Complete opposite. Just to feel validated.
Multiply the melons in the street until the guards can't move, and then...
Yeah. Sneak into this wall for 6 hours.
Yeah. Can't hold a basket at just the right angle so that you're obscured even though you're not. So that you can steal this thing from the Jarl.
Yeah. But with that, and then I rewatched the first disc of Gundam Zeta.
Yeah, Zeta Gundam!
Yeah. And I still think it's not the best intro.
Right.
I'm going to stick with that. But I think I don't like Camille.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't like the main character so far.
That's fair.
It really seems, I don't know, spoiled. But I see how they're trying to get him on the right side.
Yeah.
And it's two factions against each other, but it's really three, right?
Right.
Because you have the Earth, the defense, the Earth forces. And in that forces, you have your own group. Spoiler, by the way, Titans. Right?
Yeah, let me put up spoiler to boo for our discussion of Zeta Gundam Part 1 here.
And I don't know, they're not really allied.
Right.
At least down the line. There's something going on at the very top. I'm sure of it. I haven't got to that part yet. There's something going on at the very top of government. That Bright can't legally do anything in this mere their jurisdiction. And after he has an experience of getting beat up, when he comes back in, if you notice when he comes to get the letter, Captain Bork gives him a letter he wants him to hand deliver.
Yeah.
And he's yes sir. And I realized watching it this time, I was like, because I don't think Bright would act like that just from getting his butt kicked.
Right, I agree.
I think he tried to go to the line and got news that made him go, well, crap.
Right.
I can't do anything.
I do think that is a very solid way. Like, they could have spent all day going, hey, the Titans are a little corrupt. But to take Captain Bright and have him beat up by a team of officers in a room is like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I believe it. This is more effective than a character telling me that they're corrupt.
Yeah, yeah. And they do have, there's some good spots of the, show me, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Kind of storytelling, which is what you want to do. But again, it's like, it still seems crammed.
Yeah.
Together to get you to a point. Now, this came out in 1985. We're watching started in 1985. This is at the peak of, hey, we're making cartoons to sell stuff.
Right.
I mean, I know that's what this is, even more than the first one. Just because in the first 5 episodes, there's more types of Gundams, more types of Zaku's. You've got more detail, which the animation does seem a step up.
Yeah, I think the animation of Zeta Gundam is like class. It's timeless almost. They reached that part where we no longer have most of the animation flaws that we had with First Gundam, and this is peak drawn animation.
Yeah. And like I said, it's 1985. That's a big I'm trying not to be like, well, this was just made to sell toys, because I like He-Man, I like Transformers, I like G.I. Joe.
Right.
I watched those when I was a
That's
kid.
not a bad thing.
Yeah. Not necessarily, not a bad thing. It's just, the final product can speak for itself.
You're right. I mean, you look at the first couple episodes, the first 5 episodes of First Gundam, you have the Gundam, the Gun Cannon, the Gun Tank, which the Gun Cannon and the Gun Tank aren't even working. You've just seen them. And you have Zaku's. You have a regular Zaku and you have a Commander Zaku that's red. And then by the first 5 episodes of Zeta Gundam, you have the Mark II, the Gundam Mark II, you have the Hyzak, you have the Marasai, and you have the Rick Diaz.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure there's more coming.
Right.
I think I understand a little bit better now on the rewatch through. I can kind of lean into why Camille took the Gundam.
Yeah.
Because he overreacts to everything.
Yeah.
And this seems like I know we got spoiler lube up. I know he's a new type. They hammer that home pretty hard.
Oh yeah.
Working that really hard. But he's not Amuro is a sympathetic character.
For sure.
Right. He's in the middle of an attack. He gets in the Gundam to help people.
Yeah.
He gets them because he knows he can do it. Camille gets in the Gundam to bully.
Yes.
Somebody he got in a fight with earlier.
Yes.
And use a Gundam against a person.
It's really funny too, because like looking back on Zeta Gundam, I go, man, this is like peak Gundam. This is one of my favorite shows, in my top 3. I love this show. And it's been so long since I watched the first episodes, because when I go back to watch Zeta, I watch specific episodes, right? I watch my favorite episodes.
Yeah.
And so going back to see the original episodes, it's like, yeah, no, Camille, like, I love Camille because he is that jerk. He is that character that goes, I want things my way. Emotions are my power.
Yeah. Which gets his parents killed.
Yeah, it does. It does. Absolutely.
And he's just there's a change in Amuro after Bright punches him, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he goes from somebody who, you want him in the Gundam because he's talented, but you don't want to rely on him.
Right.
To where he becomes somebody that you feel you can rely on.
Right.
He matures a lot, I guess. I wouldn't let Camille near a Gundam.
Yeah.
once he got out the first time.
Right.
A new type or not.
It's kind of obvious too, I think, at this point, that the captains of the ship that they're on, the Argama, which is a really cool ship, I think it's a good evolution of the white base, are kind of pushovers when it comes to Lieutenant Quattro. He gets to do whatever he wants. So if Lieutenant Quattro says, well, let Camille on the Gundam, then they just do.
Yes. And I think this shows the bias of Quattro.
Yeah.
I know who he is. or kind of who he is. Somehow very close. But that's a consistent thing I like too. Yeah. Because Lieutenant Quattro, he loves to be in control.
Yeah.
But does not want to be in command.
Right.
And he's savvy enough and good enough that he can kind of do what he wants.
Yeah.
As long as those above him feel that he's doing it, especially now, feel that as long as he's on their side, let him do it.
I have never heard it put that way, and that is the single best descriptor of Quattro Bagino that I've ever heard. That is, he loves to be in control, but he doesn't want to be in command. That is so perfect.
It's another thing too. Because it's a little tongue in cheek, and it started Zeta, I think intentionally, about his Zaku, about his
Rick Diaz.
Yeah. The red comic, which is painted red. And if I got it correct, it was about he's the one. I was supposed right. Got spoiled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that takes out his own his own mech when it's stolen.
Yeah, he is.
You know, and
nobody else gets to have that. That's his.
yeah. But it was all in a weird way. It was having him do that is very impactful.
Yeah,
because he is a very good Gundam pilot, right? Very good mech pilot, but he doesn't rely on the mech.
Yeah,
and that scene right in there, that scene is just like hammers that home. You know that's not what makes him great.
Right.
He's going to be great in whatever he gets in. And also another thing about Camille, when Camille's mother dies, he blames the person that shot her.
Right. Jared.
Right. And of course, he doesn't have all the facts. We know that in the story. It's on command. It's on the Captain Borg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boss Home is pulling the strings.
Yes. But when his father dies, even though we know who shot him, shot the Gundam he was in, he blames his father.
Yep.
I mean, and it's a weird, because as I'm watching the story, I'm like, well, neither one of them had much to do with him.
Right.
You know, he's rode by, he's got by and gotten away with stuff because of who they are, especially his dad.
Absolutely.
And
that's why he's such a jerk. He's been able to just get away with everything.
Yeah. I get through. And I like the play of, and it may never have them at the angles there. If it's so strange, Amuro Ray and Char Aznavour had the same goal.
Right.
They came at it from different things, but they were kind of they were on a collision course.
Right.
And the way this goes, it's like they're going to force, as a weird just from the first 5 episodes, I haven't gone past that. They're kind of, it's like Mr. Bright and Lieutenant Quattro are kind of on the same course.
Right.
Their paths are going to be, and may even end up working together. I don't know how that goes. But so far, it's not bad. I think, especially over those first couple of 2-3 episodes, first 3 episodes, really crammed and rushed. And then it just feels like when hitting that 5th episode, okay, you can stretch your legs a little bit and really kind of try taking what's going.
I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
How do you feel about Emma Sheen? Lieutenant Emma.
I think she's an interesting character, and I think I don't think she's quite as skilled yet, but I think she has the same type of personality that Lieutenant Quattro has. Look, if I see something wrong, I don't care who put the order down, I'm gonna have a problem with it.
Right.
I mean, that's her arc right there, 100%. Right? She wants to be there. It's like they've already set up just basic breakdown. You've got honorable warriors, and then you've got dishonorable ones.
Right.
Kind of set up for it. And though she came up and she believed in the ones we find out are dishonorable, she follows a path to become, and I think she's I think if it keeps going the way, she's going to become a very valuable member of that team. The AU. I think she's very, very valuable to that.
Well, my second question then is, what do you think about her counterpart, Jared Mesa?
I think he's I think the persona he puts off is kind of a shallow jerk.
Yeah.
In some ways. But I think he's having, I think really when it settles into him, what he was ordered to do, and what he did, and the chain of events that's going to cause.
Yeah.
I think he's going to have a slow epiphany, over the series, or he's capable. I think his character is deep enough capable of that. Right. Whether it goes through or gets diverted, I don't know.
I love Jared as a character, and I think the moment that really sold him for me is that moment, because he's such a flawed person, but it's that moment when he realizes what he's done, like you're talking about, and his immediate reaction is to go, well, actually, it's your fault. It's your fault, Camille. If you had gone over there, I would have done it. And it's like, Jared, I love him so much. He's so terrible. And
he also gives a line that something's wrong. I feel sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So if he was completely callous,
right,
it would have been, oh well. Of course, he was completely. And this also shows something else. There's nothing. I think they're trying to put across it. Really, there's nothing inherently wrong with the Titans, with a special force like that.
Right.
They can be beneficial.
Yeah.
But when the wrong person gets, isolated with too much power.
Yep.
That he doesn't even trust his people to give them verbal commands.
Right.
He's got to trick them. The people he sent out, you can see trouble brewing.
For sure.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to the next disc, man. We'll get back onto it, I believe, Thursday.
Yeah.
We'll watch a couple more, and we'll get through that disc. I'll watch through it again, and we'll talk about it.
Excited too.
Yeah, right on.
All right.
So, sir, how has your week been?
Well, it's been pretty good. I got some painting done.
Nice.
And I started off by painting this boy right here.
Oh, heck yeah.
So these are my Custodes kill team. So it was a lot of work, and the blades are not going to show up because they're blue-green. But it was a lot of work to get them done, and I made a lot of mistakes early on, but I found like eventually I've really hit my stride with these boys.
Good.
Yeah, and it's got the burnished gold brass look. The Custodes normally have gold armor, but I was like, hey, what if a team of Custodes had been out fighting for a really long time? And so their armor is starting to lose its luster a little bit, And you can see on the edge of the spear there, I made the gold just a little bit more bright and vibrant and less burnt. Because, obviously they'd keep their weapons polished. But
nice.
I'm really happy with how they turned out. And then I got one last sword guy here. And that's a whole kill team, these 5 guys, as compared to, actually, kill team's 3 of the 5. But
okay.
Hopefully we can get some kill team matches done. And then I also painted this guy, and I messed up a lot on him. This is my 1000 Sun Sorcerer. He's not going to show up very well. There's a lot of green in him. But I messed up a lot on him. But from a distance, you really can't tell it. From a distance, he looks really good.
Yeah.
And it's only when you get in close that you can see that, right up here at his legs, there's a lot more green than there should be. That's supposed to mostly be blue. But I'm really happy with from a distance how he looks. From a distance, way back here, he looks incredible.
You're right. Hey, that's how you look at him most of the time anyway, right?
That's right. But it was really scary, honestly, trying to paint him. Because unlike with my Blood Angels where I had a bunch of extras, I didn't with these guys. I just had them, And if I messed them up, well, they're messed up. But over the course of painting them, I came to realize something that I probably should have realized sooner, which was just because I made a mistake doesn't mean I can't go back and fix it.
Sure.
I did go back and fix a lot of mistakes on these, but also mistakes can lead to a narrative. Like once I'd put on that burnished gold, I was like, I really like that. And so now these are the Custodes that have been out for a long time,
Right. Right.
And it really made me appreciate even more, because where I come from model-wise is Gundam models, of course, and those come pre-painted. So you really just make them. But it gave me a new appreciation for when you paint them, the painting also tells a story, just like the building, and it can create a narrative around the mob. So definitely gonna be doing some more of that.
Excellent.
It's fun.
Man, they look great.
I appreciate it. I put a lot of work into it. And I think, when they're laid out on the table, I have the GoPro footage. I don't have it transferred on the computer yet. But I want to do, a video just talking about my experience painting again. But in that video, I think as the camera pans, you get a really good shot of them colored. compared to everything else, and it looks really good, I think. So.
Okay. Good deal.
I also played some Lotro.
Yes.
As we talked about within Mo Mondays, I got to level 20 for Mo Mondays. I had a really good time. It definitely shows its age in some regards, right? Compared to other MMOs. But I really enjoyed leveling up my caster, mostly because the game let me spec into what I wanted to spec into, which was more lightning damage.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed being able to go to these different areas that I know of, like we talked about last week, and be able to, spend time in them. Tom Bombadil singing to me as he came by was really cool. But I did run into a couple small problems. Reputation-wise, I didn't have as much reputation as I needed in one area, and that confused me. But I think I can get that built up pretty easily now, thanks to the skirmishes. And then I was kind of jonesing for that instant style content. I was kind of missing that in Lotro. And the skirmishes that we did yesterday really hammered home for me that, hey, that still exists. You can still do that whenever you want. So that helped a lot for me. But otherwise, yeah, it's been a really fun experience. It's not like number one MMO for me right now, but it is in my top 5 right now because I do think what it brings to the table is really unique. So,
well, one, I'm very glad that you enjoyed playing the game, but as you said, it is an older game, and I think that's why it's not obviously not going to be for everybody,
right?
But I am looking forward to. They have reaffirmed that they are doing a graphics kind of overhaul.
Heck yeah!
To get that up, they've released some of the. They're going to unlock some of the class race combos you can do, which we talked about that on the stream and everything. I really want to start a new one. I want to play an elf burglar. I do.
Yeah, we'll play a dwarf brawler.
Yeah. Dwarf brawler. Yes. I have. I might start moving some of my other characters over towards the area we're at.
Yeah.
Especially ones because I've got, like I said, I've got Bjorning at level 30. And it's not going to take you long. Even if we just did Monday Night Skirmishes, I don't think it's going to take too long to get there.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Very good. You got anything else going on?
Yeah,
over the week?
I also finished The Good Place.
Oh yes, I forgot you were watching that. Yeah.
I definitely feel like, and I'm really torn on doing a review on this, to be honest. Cause awesome. Okay. Hey Faith. Cause I loved the first 2 seasons. The 3rd season was pretty solid, and the 4th season just kind of didn't work for me. And I think it's the big reveal at the end is supposed to be like a big ha-ha. Like this, think about it, it makes sense. It's like, well, it does make sense, but also it kind of doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get too much into spoilers here, but specifically the question of, could you get tired of existence? Well, yeah, sure, you could. But would you get tired of the person you love as well and want to leave them? That's a deeper question than I feel like the show was ready to answer,
Yeah.
And I don't feel like they sufficiently gave me a good answer for that.
Fair enough.
After 3 seasons of telling me that love was the most important thing. So, yeah, I'm torn. I might do a review on it, and I might not, because I really don't want to just bash that last season, but I really did enjoy everything up until the last episode.
It's got a good cast.
It does. It's a great cast. Oh, it's ad time.
Yes.
During ad time, I'm gonna bring back up this boy because I'm so proud of him. This banner.
Hey, you do it, sir.
So guide. Oh, I didn't show you when I was doing it before, and I'll have to do it from a distance because it'll mess up otherwise. But I even got the gold emblem emblazoned on the cape.
Heck yeah. That's good.
Yeah. Curious what ads people got. That's always the most fun, is to see the ads.
I don't know.
And then I have a game to talk about too.
Really?
Which is let me just do the shorthand version of this. Gundam Battle Operation 2. Started playing that again. Every year I do a check-in video, right?
Yeah.
And this time for the check-in video, they gave me the Bawu, which is my favorite mobile suit in the entire Gundam universe.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I'll try it. I'll try the Bawu. And it was incredible. So I'm playing GBO2 again. You're gonna get to see the Bawu when we get to Double Zeta, and I'm really excited for that because it's such a dumb cool mobile suit. Unfortunately, in GBO2 I cannot. Yeah, it's in Double Zeta, which is the sequel to Zeta.
Yes, that's next, and then it's Charge
Counterattack. Yeah. Okay. Unfortunately, in GBO2, the Bawu cannot split between the upper nutter and the under nutter, which is unfortunate. But either way, it's very cool. It's a very nifty mobile suit, and I'm excited to be playing around with it some more. And I do think, like, the big problem with the game before, I've talked about it at the time, was the bazooka meta, where unintentionally the developers had lined up timings where you could shoot a bazooka at somebody's foot. You didn't even have to hit them. It would cause them to stagger, and in that time, you could hit them with a melee attack.
Yeah.
And it was a tried and true, flawless strategy that everyone did. But now that the game's been out for 4 years, we've gotten into Unicorn Gundam mobile suits at this point, which means we have a lot more mobile suits that don't have bazookas and instead have like funnels and you know, like the Elmeth that Lala Soon piloted that had the little funnels that flew around the bits. Yeah, mobile suits that have those. Which means the entire game has changed drastically. Now, instead of, hey, I'm trying to deal with bazooka spam into melee, it's, hey, we have these range battles going on, and then we have these close range battles going on in the same maps. As people are firing funnels, people are using snipers. It's really satisfying now in a way that it just was not before. So
that reminds me, I do have a question about Zeta.
Yeah?
Why is one of those Gundams... Type 2 shown as white towards the end?
So they're repainting them. You get a single throwaway line of Lieutenant Quattro saying that they're repainting them.
Okay.
To not be black. Because the black is the Titan's colors. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. I meant to ask about it like that. I figured I missed something somewhere.
Yeah, it's a single throwaway line, but that's very common in Gundam is to go, hey, we captured the enemy mobile suit, now we're going to change it to our colors. Which, white's not really the AU colors either, because they have red Rigdiuses, but, you know, and black Rigdiuses, but, you know.
Yeah, but when Amuro shows up, because he will, he's in the credits. Which really, here's something I've noticed, and I'm going to keep watching.
Yeah.
Amuro Ray's voice actor is in the credits.
Yeah.
Camille's isn't.
Right.
They don't label Camille.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yes. Like I think they made the end credits card after they finished the series to just stick on everyone.
I think so too. But that's pretty much been my week.
I don't know, man.
Now we'll go into reviews. For everybody who's never played our review game before, we take a game, we look at the Open Critic score, not the Metacritic score, because the Metacritic score can be review bombed and the Open Critic score cannot, which is very important for the game that we're talking about right now. And then we discuss, basically, Rundgren will take a shot in the dark at what the score is based on what the game is, the average score for the critics, and then all of you in the chat will get a chance to take a shot for it. If you are watching this on YouTube, later after the fact, you can check us out live, or you can play in the comments as well. Just don't go back and edit your answers to cheat. But if you get the score correctly, you go up on the reviews chart, the ice cream score board, the review ice cream wall of fame, and you get some free channel points if you're on Twitch from Nightbot.
Yes.
So we're going to start this off with Digimon Survive.
Okay. I don't think we'll have to do much explaining about what a Digimon is.
Right.
Maybe. So this is a Digimon game.
We have a
title.
Small problem.
What are you doing?
I think. Yeah, the new batteries have also died, so I'll just do the sound effects today.
All right. So you want to give you the score, sir?
Yeah, so just as a quick heads up for anybody who doesn't know, this is the visual novel with strategy, RPG elements, Digimon Survive. It's been waiting to come out for a very long time. What do you think the critic average score is for Digimon Survive?
You want to be good, but I'm going to go with 88.
Okay. Materuyo! Do, 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 ite-io! The accent we can go, and the score is 80.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. It's not bad, but way high.
I know we have a slow chat this week, but chat, don't forget, you have a chance to go for the scores as well. So, ACG gave an unscored review.
Okay.
It does not say whether to buy, sell, or wait.
Okay.
So, I want to throw that out for you. Give you a little bit of confusing to start with here.
Yeah.
Outer Haven Productions says Digimon Survive is a masterclass visual novel that hooks its teeth into you and doesn't pull out until you hit the credit screen. That is, if you are a fan of visual novel games that attract through Japanese voice acting and only a little tactical RPG battles to set the mood. Music, atmosphere, and story, it's top tier and makes you feel like you're literally inside the anime if the anime had more death looming over your every decision.
Okay. More death.
More death. Then we have Twinfinite, who says, Digimon Survive was lovingly crafted for longtime fans of the series, and it truly feels like playing through a season of the show. The visual novel is consistently engaging, and the battles are an excellent supplement to give players a connection to the Digimon they recruit.
Okay.
Then I have two more for you here.
Mm-hmm.
We got this covered, and I had to read this review for you because it's so bizarre. Digimon Survive is a bold new take on a dying franchise, bringing a much-needed breath of life into the series. Don't know how to tell you this. We got this covered, but Digimon is a thriving franchise. They still have anime coming out. They're still selling the card game. Hacker's Memory was 2 years ago.
Yeah. I don't. It's just not a franchise you're familiar with, Bubba.
Right, that's all.
It's not dying. Franchise. Know about it. That was dying.
And then finally, I have a review from Inverse for you here. It says, Digimon Survive isn't awful, but longtime fans of the franchise will likely come away feeling a little disappointed. If the tactics gameplay was up to snuff or eliminated entirely, the experience would have been better overall.
Okay.
Which is an interesting take.
Yeah.
Hey, well.
Hey, glad you're here, sir. Glad you're here.
Will, we talked about Zeta Gundam earlier. It will be up on YouTube Live. I think it was in the last. Also, Dark. Hi. We talked about Zeta Gundam earlier. It was in the first 15 minutes of the podcast or so. Well, after the. Yeah. But it will also go up as its own podcast highlight. So. Keep an eye out for that. But you've heard the reviews for Digimon Survive. I specifically did not bring in the Polygon review. Only the first 5 episodes, yes. Because the Polygon review is really strange. It's basically like, this game doesn't have enough gameplay in it. Well, it's a visual novel, so don't know what you expected, Polygon.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm also playing through it for review. Much slower than you are, I'm sure. But I'm on chapter 4 right now, almost on chapter 5, and really like it.
Yeah, we won't go on. If you want an in-depth review, there'll be a review out on this channel, and Dark will be handling it Thursday night, I believe. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah.
So
we'll have a review, and Dark will have a review. So super stoked. But my review is probably not going to be for like another 3 weeks, so just keep that in mind. I'm taking my time with it specifically too because the devs asked, hey, if we could keep spoilers back until after a couple weeks after review for after chapter 5. And so my plan is like, hey, if I wait that long to go ahead and finish and review it, then I can talk spoilers as much as I want in the review. But started today, currently only in chapter 1. It's a really cool game. I think you're gonna like it. But you've heard the review scores. What do you think, Rundgren? What are your thoughts on the recommended?
I think I'll give it 82.
Okay.
82.
No, I was wrong. Materoyo, which means wait for the light. You cannot go. Boo, boo, boo.
84.
Iteio. Man, I gotta change those batteries again. The score is 76.
Oh man, and none of us were too high off at that time.
No, it's pretty good.
84, the highest is 79, 80. Yeah.
I do want to pull up real quick the Metacritic score for Digimon Survive, just to show you why we don't use Metacritic. For anybody that's watching out there that's like, we'll use Metacritic because it's more accurate. The Metacritic score is now at an 81 with a user score at an 80. However, it was at one point at a 0.1.
Wow.
Because people were review bombing it because they didn't think it had enough gameplay. Also, yeah, that's the thing. As Dark's pointing out, at chapter what? You get access to free battle, and you can battle as much as you want. You can overlevel all you want. You can find hidden Digimon hiding in the shadows in different areas and fight them. There's plenty of combat if you want it. I don't know why people are freaking out about this. Because they're people.
It wasn't in the story like I wanted.
Yeah, they wanted a tactics game. They didn't want a visual novel, and they didn't pay attention to the fact that it had both tags on Steam.
It's so weird because these are people that will just like praise Bannerlord.
Yep.
And I don't know.
Also, like, Final Fantasy Tactics has a ton of dialogue in it. Like, what?
Yeah.
And it's a great game. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but tried the Battle Alliance? Yeah, Ephion's, that's a good boss fight. That thing does great damage. All right, well, next one we have 2 Point Campus, which is the newest game in the 2 Point series. They made 2 Point Hospital, and 2 Point Campus is more of the same, I guess you could say, except in a hospital, it's a university.
Okay.
So, well, what do you think?
I don't know. I'm going to 79.
Okay.
I'm going to 79 right now. See how they feel about it.
Chat. Materoyo. Do. Iteio. Somebody's going to clip that at some point and just like put that on Twitter, and it's going to exist forever. The score is 84.
Ah, dang, Dark's got it. Dark got it.
We put Dark on the board. Yet again, the Ice Cream Queen. And then Nightbot, you know what to do. Giveaways, user, Dark.
There you go. That's awesome.
Come on, Nightbot.
What have you done? There's never was a doubt, Dark. Never was a doubt.
Giveaway to the active user. Let's see how many you're getting.
You also happen to be. Hey, okay. Nightbot says, I got the one to give away.
It did not tell me how many points it gave you. It just told me that it gave you points.
All right. Well, that's not enough. You don't need to know.
So, all right then.
Wait.
If you want points, that's how it works.
Right on.
Watch Nightbot have not given Dark any points at all. Less than 1K? Okay, well. It was probably like 100 points, let's be honest. I don't know how to code that to be better, but we'll find out. You maxed
You
your
forgot
GM?
it, but you're also a guinea pig.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Next up, then, we have some reviews to read from it. Because the score was 84, as we said.
Yeah.
We have a very strange review in my mind, which is Gamer's Hero says, to keep it simple, 2 Point Campus delivers. It's everything fans of 2 Point Studios Works would expect. An expertly crafted management simulation experience with the perfect amount of humor, wonderfully designed characters, and charming graphics. It is a game full of heart from start to finish.
But what does it do?
Right.
Apparently they liked it.
Yeah. I have a much more helpful review written by IGN Italy, who says that 2 Point Campus takes everything that's great about 2 Point Hospital and improves on it while maintaining its unique charm. The new University Simulator of 2 Point Studios doesn't lack options, and it manages to have very deep gameplay without making the game harder to get into. The renowned attention for the life and the needs of the little people in the game is well implemented and never annoying. If you love simulation games, you really shouldn't miss 2 Point Campus.
Okay. That seems pretty straightforward, actually.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to like that.
And then I've got one more for you.
All right.
Which is Jump Dash Roll, who gives both probably the most helpful and least helpful review I think I've read today, which is, if 2 Point Hospital was your jam when it released 4 years ago, then 2 Point Campus will no doubt already be on your watch list. It's not perfect and needs some tweaks, but it's still a blast to play when everything's working out.
So are most games. All right.
Hey, yeah. Hey, did you like the last one? You're probably going to like this one. Sometimes it doesn't work, but when it works, it's good. Sure. Okay. What do you think the recommended score is based on those?
Bump it up. I'm going to go to 82.
Okay.
82.
You got a 79 from Dark, an 82 from Faith. Atenoyo. Boo. 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 Itaio. The score is 93%.
Oh, wow. Okay.
People like this one.
I guess so. Or at least they think other people should play it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then finally for tonight, we have a very special game. It's a game that I was excited for when it got announced, that I have not yet got to play yet. I did not, unfortunately, get a key for it. It is Frogun. Or Frogun.
Is this Frogger with pistols?
No, that would be incredible. This is a 3D platformer that is made in the style of old school 3D platformers, still using a lot of that graphical style, but in the new engines in Unity. So it looks really cool, even though it looks like very blocky in the way that they used to. Where a girl walks around using a gun that's also a frog.
Oh, it's close.
Faith immediately jumped for that 98. That's all I'm saying. Just bam, frog gun. Let's go. I can't blame you. That's where my heart is too.
So is this like a side quest for Slugterra?
Right. It should be. It should be. What do you think of Will went for the 99? I'm with it. This is the energy I'm looking for right now. Frog gun. A girl walking around with a frog gun. This has to be the best game ever made.
I'll go 90.
Okay.
I'll go 90. 90, yeah.
Got a 93 from Dark. I'm glad everybody's hyped for this. Yeah. Matenoyo. Boo. 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 Itaio. The score's 73.
Well, obviously they need to hire our chat.
And I've never looked at this outlet before. Ever. But Goomba Stomp gives an unscored review that is so interesting to me. Okay. Normally with unscored reviews, it's not like, it's just the blurb, right? But they specifically say, no recommendation. And the blurb is, while we may hold plenty of fond memories from the days of 5th generation console gaming, it is undeniable that the first era of fully realized 3D titles has not aged particularly well. Frogun does not elegantly leap onto today's lily pad of modernized throwback platformers, but at the very least, Molgato's title does bring a sense of adventure.
Okay.
Then I got a couple reviews.
Okay.
6
Well,
Axis.
I went 90. I went 90 because I'm not going against the chat.
That's fair. Dark did the same thing.
Yeah.
6 Axis says Frogun is old school bliss. This is a 3D platformer that doesn't just capture the feel of a PS1 classic in one area, it captures the magic in every part of the package. From vivid low-poly art to simple yet satisfying gameplay, it's a must-play for anyone itching to experience another classic 3D adventure. I'll tell you right now, there are very few reviews in this segment that have 100% sold me on a game. I was already going to get Frogun, but this review just sold me on it.
Very good. Very good.
That's a good blurb. However, it's not the last blurb.
Okay.
Kakacho Pare says, Frogun's aesthetics belies an annoying kind of 3D platformer that demands precision. For that, I'm not sure if I should recommend the game to everyone, but the most hardcore of platformer enthusiasts.
Is that just a fancy way of saying if you don't like Jump Quest, don't play it?
It sounds like it to me. So what do you think the recommended is going to be?
79.
Okay. Chat, what are you thinking? Materoyo! Boo. 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 Boo.
I'll be around there.
Iteio! 98 in heart.
82 in hearts, 98.
Yeah.
We got an 82 and 68. We're at 74.
60%.
Golly, they don't like this game.
Yeah. How can you dislike a game called Frogun?
See, when you explain this game to me, I've got it kind of comes in my head like, okay, there's games that are made for a reason, to be silly. Yeah. Some games are made to have that, and I don't know if any of these people have a sense of humor. They may.
I'm right there with you. I'm gonna grab this image and open it in a new tab and drag this on the screen so everybody can see how beautiful this game looked. They don't know good frogs when they see them. You're so right, chat. You're so right. Look at how good that game looks. Frogun will live forever in my heart.
All right. I may have to play this.
You were the closest, Waverly. That is true. Is it for PC? Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it is for PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, Series S, Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch. It's for all platforms.
Wow. I don't know everything. That's awesome.
Frogun!
Look, I think me in the chat's going to revolt and play this game anyway.
I really wish I'd gotten a key because I requested one. I wanted to be able to play it before the release. But I need to just buy it now. How much is it on Steam? Let me double check this real quick. My Steam page is going to come up on top of the window, but I'm going to move it. It's $14.99. Look.
That's all?
And it's very positive on Steam. Oh, no, it's playing music. Stop.
Don't do it.
I moved it quick because for the sake of the channel, I have to have the explicit filters turned off for games because there are games that I can't buy for the channel if they have a lot of gore in them. But turning the explicit filter off on Steam also makes it where the nudity games show up, which means that the nudity shows up on my homepage, which means that I have to move it immediately if we're on stream. Hey, all I'm saying is there's a new game that just came out called Fap Simulator 2 that is on the most purchased games for the week. I didn't buy it, but a lot of people did. That's all I'm saying.
What is wrong with our societies?
Yeah, apparently there's a special bundle edition where you get the soundtrack and the art book for $23.22. So,
okay,
I'm gonna make a video on Frogun. You just wait.
Do it.
But that's our reviews for the week.
All right.
And then we have a couple of announcements. This is the short one. This first one is a short one. That's what I meant to say. Which is, I didn't buy it, Will. I didn't buy it. That's all I'm saying. I did not buy that game. You can check my Steam account right now and see that I do not own that game. Hopefully nobody now gives me that game so that I own that game, because I'm not going to play it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to. I only play games I can make reviews for. And that's like when people go, hey, Trey, why won't you play? We're going to talk about Pokemon Cafe Remix later. Like, why won't you play Cafe Remix? You love cute Pokemon games. It's because the Switch has to be handheld while you play it, and I can't capture footage that way. So
yeah,
can't play it.
Yeah.
We got a release date.
I want to do a review for that game. Or could be what? I was supposed to buy a game.
Oh, that's very true. We got a release date for Tactics Ogre Reborn, which is November 11th. Like it's right there already. It's pretty crazy. Yeah. I thought for sure when they announced it like 2 weeks ago that it was going to be next year, but pretty cool.
Here's how it goes.
Pretty cool.
Or if you're Bethesda, 10 years from now.
Right. And then we got a lot of stuff announced at EVO, so I figured we'd just do it all in one big batch.
Okay.
Because a lot of stuff got announced at EVO. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Evolution is the like big championship series for fighting games. Happens every year. And EVO this year had some really good news for a lot of people. We had Bridget coming to Guilty Gear Strive. Bridget's a fan favorite character. A lot of people have wanted them. It's now she. They gave Bridget a gender finally, which is interesting to me. Bridget's backstory is actually one of the best backstories in Guilty Gear, in my opinion. And I know a lot of people are going, well, it's a retcon that now Bridget has a gender. It's like, no, Bridget has just decided on what Bridget wants to do, because Bridget was literally told to be two different genders by an entire town full of people for no real reason. And it was actually a really tragic backstory for this child that has finally decided what she wants to be. Yeah. But, you know, either way, people mad. People are always going to be mad. But Bridget's in Strive, and Bridget's moveset looks really cool.
Nice.
There's actually a really cool thing where if two Bridgets super against each other, then they perfectly counter each other's jabs in the super. And it looks really cool as they're just like perfect countering, but then the big bear that comes down at the end hurts both of them. So if you're playing against a Bridget and they super, you have to immediately super to be able to like even out the damage.
Got you.
Really cool.
Gameplay tip for the week.
Yeah. Next week we'll tell you how to speed run Super Mario 64. But yeah, Bridget's coming for Guilty Gear Strive, and that was as of yesterday. Bridget is now available. Street Fighter got Juri Han coming back in Street Fighter 6, and a brand new character called Kimberly coming for Street Fighter 6. She looks pretty cool. King of Fighters 15 got another wave of DLC coming, which has the Orochi team in it, which is, of course, Shermie and Yashiro and Chris. But I don't know where the second ad is. That's interesting. It should have been there. A lot of people feel that way, and I'm not saying they're wrong for feeling that way. It's just, for me, it's Bridget finally making a choice. Because over the course of that arc, being a man didn't work out for Bridget either. But I don't really care what gender Bridget has. I just think Bridget's fun to play as.
As long as the super looks cool.
Yeah, the super's awesome. King of Fighters 15 is also getting a fourth wave of DLC, which will be characters from Sam Show, from Samurai Showdown. Okay. And that team will be Haomaru, Darly Dagger, and Nakaruru. So that's awesome. And then, as if that wasn't cool enough, A new Garou got announced?
Really?
It's been a long time since Garou Mark of the Warves. I'm hyped for new Garou.
So that was 3. We've got... And all these are coming through DLC?
Yeah, except for the new Garou. That is a brand new game coming. So,
yes.
But everything else is DLC there. And then all of that was great. All that could have been enough, right? But then Tekken announced that it's getting rollback netcode, which is awesome. Dragon Ball FighterZ announced that it's getting rollback netcode, which is great. Skullgirls is getting Black Dahlia, which used to be a boss character, but now they're getting a new boss character named Marie, who will also be playable. That's cool. I guess Marie was already playable on some platforms, so it's weird.
Okay.
But Melty Blood Type Lumina is adding Mash Kyrielite from the Fate series and Neko Arc, so that's really cool. Multiverses is doing a new LeBron James costume. This is the weirdest sentence I'm ever going to say in my life. Get ready. Multiverse is doing a new LeBron James costume, a new costume for Robin from DC Comics, and a new Bugs Bunny costume that is based on the What's Opera Doc episode. Why not? That'll be the legendary costume. Trey makes a new Alt Steam account for... No. And then Persona 4 Arena Ultimax is also getting rollback netcode, which is great. Blazing Strike has been pushed back. That's Arxis' new fighter they were making. And Arcade 1-Up is making a new retro cabinet. And the new retro cabinet is MVC2 New Age of Heroes.
Nice.
I would love to have a cabinet of MVC2 in my house.
I think there's a few games.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, if there was that cabinet in my house, you would walk in my house and you'd hear, "I want to take you for a ride." Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. Playing on loop. That cabinet would always be powered up. I don't care how much it costs. Yeah, that's the Evo news. Lots of good for people that love Evo. I did want to call out, too, obviously Evo's a really fun time for me as a fighting game fan. I like to watch Evo. And Evo, I know a lot of people think that it should be gone, that it doesn't really do its thing anymore. But I think as compared to like an E3, I think Evo still gives the hype of not just the matches, but also the reveals. And a lot of people were mad this year because Smash wasn't an Evo. I'm gonna take this hardline stance here and say that I think Evo was better for not having Smash there, because as of yet I don't have any reports of kids getting attacked at Evo this year. Also, during the Dragon Ball FighterZ finals, they did the Cell Scream. So if anybody's that's seen Dragon Ball knows that when Perfect Cell becomes Perfect Cell, he does the like big scream before he fights to build up the power. When you bring Cell in, his character intro is that scream, and they started it up, and somebody skipped the cutscene, and you could hear the crowd go, "Oh!" And then the announcer was like, "No, roll it back, roll it back." And so both players rolled it back. They didn't make any movements. They reset to character select. They brought it back in, and then the whole crowd did the scream with Cell. As if that wasn't enough, during the Guilty Gear set, at one point, 2 players let the theme song play, like when booted the game before everything was starting up. They let the theme song play before they chose characters. And Daisuke Ishiwatari, the man who makes Guilty Gear, the man who writes all the songs for Guilty Gear, had put out publicly a couple years back that was like, "I'm a little worried about putting lyrics in my main theme because I feel like players won't respond to them well, and they just like the good, hard music for a theme song."
Yeah.
They let that main theme play because they knew he was there, and the whole crowd sang that theme song.
That's awesome.
And the camera cuts to Daisuke Ishiwatari, and you just see him going.
Yeah. I imagine that's got to be a great feeling.
So, Evo was hyped this year.
That's cool. Very cool.
Evo was hyped. Next up, we have in the news, a Pokemon Presents happened. And I know everybody here loves Pokemon. But I'm going to be honest with you, I think this is probably one of the worst Pokemon Presents we've had in a long time. So, they started off with like, hey, World Tournament news, right? We're adding Pokemon Unite and Pokemon Go to the World Tournaments. People can play those at the World Tournament, which is cool. That's nifty. I understand why you want to announce that, right? But then they announced the Go Festival, which Pokemon Go has been letting you know is coming up for like forever.
Oh, yeah.
So they announced it there, I'm sure, just to try and get people back into Pokemon Go. But, you know, it's the Go Festival. You can do it from home, which is nice. You don't have to go to Japan to do it. Not really anything new to say there. They announced the Pokemon Unite is adding new Pokemon to it, which, like, of course you are. That makes sense.
Right, yeah.
But instead of being like, and here's the list coming, it was like, okay, we're going to show them in a single screenshot of, like, Tyranitar's coming and Glaceon's coming, and we're not going to show you their movesets or anything. But instead, we're going to announce that there's a special event going on right now where everybody has to play Pikachu. It's like that. Imagine that in any other fighting game, or like, because this is a MOBA, right? But imagine that in a MOBA. Imagine League of Legends goes, hey, instead of talking about our new characters, we got a special mode where everybody has to play as Annie.
I don't know. A small bit of that, I think will work in Pokemon, but you can't twist somebody's arm for like to make that go on too long.
Right. I love the disconnect of we're adding new Pokemon to the game, but for this special event, you can only play as Pikachu, who's already in the game.
Yes. Pikachu is a free album on your phone, whether you want it or not.
Yeah, pretty much. Pokemon EX Masters has kind of a cool thing going on where Ash and Red are going to fight. That's really cool. Ash from the show and Red from the game. And the setting of the fight seems to be like Mount Silver from the end of Pokemon Gold and Silver and Crystal, which is really cool. But that's all you get. You get just the teaser that that's going to happen, and then they cut away. And they go, Pokemon Masters EX. And it's like, okay. Sure. Mewtwo's coming back to Cafe Remix, and they're adding some special Pokemon you can download that make it easier to get Mewtwo in your cafe. It's like, okay.
That's weird.
Sure.
It shouldn't be easy to get Mewtwo in
I agree.
any Pokemon game.
I agree.
But then be special.
The big stuff that came in was the stuff for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet, right? The new games that are coming. We got a shot of the region map, and the region map looks really cool. We got some discussions on what's going to be in the game. They've got a really cool new idea this time, which is there are 3 stories in this game. One of them is the gyms going for the Elite Four story. One of them is the legendary Pokemon story. We don't know what the third one is yet.
That's interesting.
And you can do the gyms in any order.
Fair enough. That's good.
It's going to be really interesting to see if this is like fully open world, Pokemon Arceus style, or if you still have like routes that are a little bit more concise with the fact that you can go anywhere. How does the level curve work? Does it work based on your level or not?
Well, that's the easiest way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder what that means, because even some of the old games, like Zelda, the original Zelda, right? You can go to dungeons in pretty much any order you want to.
Yeah.
But you're not going to make it through, or it's going to be really hard to make it through a couple of those dungeons without doing previous dungeons.
For sure.
But it can be done. So I'm kind of wondering if that's
the way they're going to do it or not.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, you can go here, but you better be ready.
They also showed off that you can play with friends basically anywhere. It's not like a wild area this time, like it was in the last game, where you can play solo until you get to this area and then you can play with friends. You just run around with 3 friends. Just go.
Yeah, that was a good thing.
The raids have been changed too, to now you don't automatically lose the raid if somebody gets knocked out, which is incredible because now instead everybody moves at the same time. So instead of everybody has to take their turns, the raids take forever because you have 3 people taking forever and somebody get knocked out. Now you all move at the same time. And now there's a new system, because there's a new system every Pokemon game, called terastallizing, which makes the Pokemon become more in tune with the ground. And they get like a gem on their head, and then they can like get it's almost like a mega form for them. Where they can change types and stuff based on what they are. But it's like mixing in Mega Forms, Dynamaxing, and Z moves. We'll see how it works. I don't know. It looks cool, but we'll see how it actually plays, you know?
Yeah.
The other big change is that they're giving you access to the Legendary basically right at the start because you're using the Legendary as a mount to get around the world.
Okay.
I'm assuming you don't get to use it in battle at that point. But if you're using Coraldon, which is the lizard, then he runs around. And if you're using, let me get the name right here. If you're using Muraldon, I think. Yeah, Muraidon, then he's a motorcycle. So I have to get that version of the game. I want to be a Pokemon rider.
Hey, that makes me wonder if in Breath of the Wild 2, if you're going to get the motorcycle right off the
Probably. But
like, no, random thought.
I'm excited for this one more than I have been in a long time because the idea of, hey, there are 3 different stories and you can do the gyms in whatever order you want.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little tired. I say a little tired. I'm getting very tired of the, hey, go do these gyms in this set order while also doing the story and getting way over leveled for everything. Yeah. Because you're doing both at the same time.
Well, they're not the only game. There's quite a few that it seems like they should be more open worlded, but you're really kind of railroaded. You need to take this path.
Right.
In order to get everything. So, which it seems like that's something that Pokemon's been moving towards, right? And more open with the world.
Yeah, for sure. Next up, we go from fun Pokemon news to talking about Crunchyroll. This is where the podcast goes from, hey, we've been having a good time, to, hey, things are not as great as they could be. Sony Crunchyroll, because remember, Sony bought Crunchyroll, has purchased Rightstuff. And you may say, well, this is not that big of a thing, but here's the thing. In purchasing Rightstuff, Sony, Crunchyroll specifically, now has the right to all of the distribution rights for the vast majority of anime. The ones that they weren't able to secure in the purchase, in the merger, have dropped, which means they're no longer being printed, which means there's no longer any way to get them. And because Rightstuff is being purchased by, or was purchased by Crunchyroll, which is a non-18 plus site, it means all the hentai is delisted. Now, again, might not be the person for you. It might not be the stuff for you. It's not the stuff for me. But it means that all that hentai is just no longer able to be purchased, which means that there are multiple doujin artists in Japan that now don't have money coming in because they don't have anywhere to sell their stuff legally to the US or to the UK.
And if this was just like this is the first buyout we were talking about this year.
Right.
I don't think it would be that big of a deal. And I'm not here to sing the praise of hentai or anything, but the free art form.
Right.
But there's been so many purchases of different studios this year going to these big, not just Sony. Sony's definitely been doing it, but not just Sony, all the big studios.
Yeah.
All the big producers. and they're going to streamline what they want to put out and
right.
what they want to see.
The other problem is that because of this, we were getting Macross before. Harmony Gold had lost their stuff. We were getting Macross. And now Crunchyroll owns the rights to distribute Macross. And they're not going to care about Macross, which means we're not going to get Macross.
Just.
Crunchyroll also now holds the rights to distribute all of Gundam.
Well,
all of the Gundam DVDs and Blu-rays.
Back to the Macross thing.
Yeah.
Are they dropping Macross and just going to... Because Macross and Robotech are the same thing.
Right, basically.
Basically.
They haven't said they're not going to distribute Macross. But Rightstuff was the place where you could go get anything, right?
Yeah.
Crunchyroll is not that. Crunchyroll is the site that went, hey, people haven't been watching the original Gundam in the numbers we want them to, so we're just going to remove it from the site, even though we still have the right to stream it, and nobody else does.
Okay.
So there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to say, hey, Macross isn't that popular. We're not going to distribute it. And that's the problem. Yeah. If they let Rightstuff distribute whatever they want, the way they were before, everything will be fine. But I don't trust Crunchyroll because this is the site that goes, hey, let's change the subtitles so that it fits more with our agenda of we want to push politics. And I'm not even that guy that is going like, hey, you know, everybody's pushing politics. But when the line originally is, well, you know, people are going to be people. And it's changed to, well, you know, this male patriarchal society that we live into.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah, they got...
Okay.
And we had talked about that before about Crunchyroll. Now, I mean, that's one example,
right, of many.
Yeah, of many, and it's not. I don't like the idea of. I don't like the idea of changing what the intent was. Now, if we have a better understanding of translation,
for sure. If that was mistranslated in the first place, go for it. But Macross hentai.
Clang, clang.
Oh, you're forgetting that every Macross series has a idol that is the singer.
Yeah.
When I was a little boy, I wanted Lin Min-Mei to be my girlfriend. I'm not even afraid to admit that. Lin Min-Mei was the star when I was a child. She was incredible. I'd say child when I was young. She was great.
Yeah.
She sang My Boyfriend's a Pilot, and man, I just wanted to be a pilot.
That easy.
Yep.
That easy.
But no, it's when we look at, like, especially with their stuff with Gundam, it's like, okay, so we have these great Blu-rays for First Gundam that are hard to get a hold of now. They're extremely expensive. They need to be re-released. Do I trust the company that delisted First Gundam because it wasn't getting enough watches to reprint these? No, I don't. We have incredible Blu-rays of G Gundam, which are becoming limited. I don't trust them to redo those either, you know?
Yeah. This is... I don't know how to take it because there's two ways. This for the right people at Rightstuff, they probably did very well with this, but there's going to be a lot of people at that company that, like, you know, we've already talked about one division that's going to be gone.
Yep, and
that's going to happen a couple more times.
Yeah, and also this gives Crunchyroll the monopoly for distribution in the U.S. They now own the rights to distribute anime streaming and physically because they have the deals. Amazon goes through them now to purchase the stuff from Rightstuff to be able to distribute, you know?
I need to look at what happened to Sunrise.
Well, Sunrise is still doing fine as a company because of Japan. But their deal was with Rightstuff for the U.S., which means their deal is now with Crunchyroll for the U.S.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah.
But you have Crunchyroll bought out Funimation. Sony bought out Funimation. You know what I mean? They rolled all of that into Crunchyroll, and now they have physical distribution as well, which means they have the monopoly on anime here in the U.S. and in the U.K.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we still have other sources for imports, and thankfully, you can get the Singapore version of stuff that has U.S. audio or U.S. subtitles. But Unfortunately, it just means that unless you use services like Bai or KTJ Japan to be able to get your merch, you're gonna pay Crunchyroll prices, whatever they decide to set them for.
Yeah. I don't know that they see. I think from an outside perspective, this might be a good thing, but for diehards, obviously people that watch more anime than either one of us,
right?
And you watch more than I do. I think that's the group that's gonna end up feeling this when they got to look for stuff to watch and it's not there.
I agree. And hopefully there'll be a new place for not just the hentai artists, but also like the doujin artists. Because we talk about hentai, but doujins are not just hentai. And doujins are stuff that legally fits into a gray area because it's, hey, you made a fanfic, basically, that is a manga, right? You made your own doujin of this world with your characters in it. You can't legally sell that in the US, but you can legally sell that in Japan. Rightstuff allowed you to legally sell it over here because it was buying it from Japan. So it was an import. But now because the 18 plus category that included that section has been axed, you can't buy it anymore through Rightstuff.
Yep.
So how do you get that stuff out there without just putting it on Twitter, and accepting donations?
Yeah.
But it's a problem. And it's not the only problem. As we move into the next one, we get Warner Brothers has teamed up with Discovery. And when I say teamed up with, I mean realistically they have allowed Discovery to take over their entire animation and movie departments.
Right.
To make yet another monopoly, basically.
Well, this was I heard Discovery called out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Over the Batwoman.
Batgirl.
Batgirl. Cancellation.
Yeah.
There was another cancellation as well. I forgot what it was. And so I don't understand what Warner Brothers been doing with DC.
I don't either.
On the movie front. How you can make animation so great.
Yeah.
Because some of the DC movie cartoons are amazing. Flashpoint is one of them.
Yeah.
It's probably the big one that gets talked about. That is an amazing cartoon. But Doom, Justice League Doom, and a few others, they really do well.
Mm-hmm.
They work very well in that media. And so I don't know. It doesn't seem like, or in a perfect world, right?
Yeah.
Perfect world. That's not who I want. I don't want Discovery.
Yeah.
Working on my superheroes. I want Discovery working on science stuff.
Yeah.
Explain this. Give me the images. The new Webb telescope.
Right.
Is getting that's so much better than the Hubble.
Right.
Talk about stuff like that. So it's strange.
We talked last week about Batgirl and how they axed it, right? When we thought it was filmed but probably not edited, right? That was our gut response because we didn't have all the information yet. Why else would you axe it? It must have been just not edited yet.
Yeah, and then we find out
that's not true. It was fully edited.
Fully edited and given to test audiences.
Yeah, it was ready to go. And Discovery said, nah.
Didn't do the numbers we wanted.
Yeah. And that's not all they canceled. They also canceled Scoob 2 Holiday Haunt.
Yeah.
As they call it, a purchase accounting maneuver. Then, very quietly, without saying anything, they delisted 6 shows from HBO Max, which they own now.
Yeah.
That people were kind of into. People liked those shows. Just, no, Discovery says, they're not doing good enough. They're done.
Right. That corporate word. We're streamline.
Yeah.
And let them deal with it. Which, look, of all the Scooby-Doos, the movie Scoob has some really good Easter eggs in it if you look for them. But it's not a very good Scooby-Doo all in all. So, the Batgirl thing I don't understand.
I don't get it.
Why
not just release it and see how it does? Like, it's already done.
Yeah, you got distribution costs, but I don't know.
Just put it on streaming at that point. Do like Disney with Mulan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like at that point, if it's done and you don't think it's very good, just put it on streaming. Straight to video is what we used to call it, right?
But this is also one of the problems with but this is what kind of one of the problems with test audiences.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you can get enough people in there to really represent even just in the United States.
Yeah. And that's not even counting overseas, right?
Yeah, everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
There's neither one of us are exactly alike, and that's a beautiful thing. And
right.
I just, if you're going to put your heart and soul in a movie and believe in it, then put it out.
Not to call back too much to our Zeta Gundam discussion earlier, but you get 10 different people in a room watching that first episode with Camille.
Yeah.
And every single one of them is going to have a different opinion of him in that first episode.
No, they're all going to hate him
based on how great he is and how petty he is.
Yeah. That's why. I don't know.
Also, because of this,
seems like a lot of this is really. It seems like so much. It's like they're trying to fix patches that they created.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're not. It doesn't seem like a very good direction. But
part of this is that they've announced they're removing all 8 Harry Potter films from HBO Max.
Yeah.
And then they're adding in The Room.
Sounds like a fair trade.
It's just a weird set of choices to me. Like, we're getting rid of this and we're bringing this in. It's okay. That's gonna win you back over, right? The Room. All right, HBO. I don't know what Discovery's doing.
See, this makes me even more curious about, because the next MonsterVerse movie is filming.
Yeah.
The next Godzilla King Kong movie
is
filming. And I kind of makes me wonder what they're going to do with that. Because I'm looking forward to that.
At this point, I don't trust anything to actually come out that they're working on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
all right. Yeah.
Next up, we have kind of a weird thing. The Sims has had to force an update to remove incest. So there was an expansion that launched Thursday on The Sims 4. And the expansion had some cool stuff, new cool stuff for people to do. But it had 2 major side effects that weren't expected. Yeah. Sims aged way too fast. And Sims became attracted to their siblings.
Yes.
And not just became attracted. I'm talking happily married Sims, straight Sims, Sims that were lesbian that suddenly were attracted to their male brothers, straight Sims that were attracted to their same-sex sibling. I think the worst one was one that was a woman Sim that had been happily married for 30 years. Has suddenly at the top of her want list is her brother.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, oh boy. So they tweeted out that they're trying to fix the aging issue, and multiple responses were like, hey, that's cool, but could you fix the incest too?
All right. God.
Yeah.
What I want to know is how this got through. Okay. Here's the funny thing. By the way, Alabama joke on point.
Yeah, for sure.
Made it myself.
For sure.
If you look at actuality, it's going to be the biggest place of that is Washington and Oregon.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering. I need to go back and look at where the developers are from.
Yeah. Oh,
and how. I kind of want to know how this got through. Yeah. It's just a break. I mean, it's just a miscoding error. Is it something that the coding did and took it upon itself to the restriction wasn't there?
Yeah, it is. It was ad time. So anything you said after Alabama was lost to the Twitch audience.
I remember I said that. Well, the two biggest states for incest are Washington and Oregon. They switched number 1 and number 2. They don't work well on the joke.
Yeah,
but that's where it's from. And I don't know. I really want to. I want to know how this got through. I mean, because I know this got play tested.
Right. Speaking of playtesting, I have an acknowledgement message here that is very unfortunately worded from the Sims team. And it says, it's from Sim Guru Nick, who says, I just want to acknowledge that the want to date a family member is something we know about. We've reproduced ourselves. We're working on it. And there's a later update because we've reproduced ourselves is not quite the way you want to word that when you're talking about incest. They said, we're looking to get it fixed ASAP. Thanks for all the bug supports. We appreciate it. Or bug reports. We're, of course, working on the aging bug, too. But the incest bug has become the more important one to fix.
What's kind of worrisome is, like, out of the gate, they're like, man, we got to fix the aging.
Yeah.
And end of sentence.
That makes me think they didn't know about the incest one, right? Like, even in the playtesting, they just didn't catch it. But either way, the incest bug has been fixed. I believe a fix for the aging bug is going to be rolling out this next week. But it has been fixed.
I will say this. Any playtesting usually done in a limited field.
Yeah.
And when millions of people use software, there's going to be something that the people do that the software is not prepared for.
That's right.
That's how people get out of bounds. People make it some speedrunners make a living out of finding
looking for those. Right.
That's how they do it. But I don't know. This seems like someone would have noticed. Maybe not.
All I'm saying is, look, if you're working on The Sims and people tell you that you missed a bug for incest and you're going to work on it, maybe check the way you're wording your sentence and don't say, we've reproduced ourselves.
Yeah.
That could be read as, yeah, no, we've had sex with our siblings before. We know what you mean. It's not the message you wanted to send there, buddy.
Oh man, glad they're getting it fixed.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Next up, we have we're gonna pull the lid back on this name, and we're gonna say this name this time.
Okay.
Because Blizzard and NetEase have scrapped the Warcraft MMO, the mobile MMO.
Yeah.
And you may say there's already a Warcraft MMO. Yeah, you're right. We don't talk about Blizzard. Yeah, this is a spinoff. We don't talk about Blizzard on this podcast normally, because we stand by the fact that no news is any news is good news, right? For most people. But it's the topic of it that we want to talk about here. The fact that this company threw this away after they threw away Titan not that long ago goes to show that they are struggling, and they should be struggling in my mind. But it also goes back into what we were talking about earlier with Batgirl.
Okay, yeah.
This thing's been in development for 3 years. They just torpedoed it. Over 100 devs just no longer have a job.
Well, not that. I mean, you got to think about, their art and their gameplay and all that good stuff is not going to be seen.
Yeah,
all the stuff they worked on and trying to bring up.
Yeah. Specifically, NetEase disabled their team after the breakup, I guess you could say, because it was originally a deal made between the two companies. And NetEase, very big company over in China. It's the number 2 gaming company after Tencent. They just closed the doors on that whole studio. And the other big reason I want to talk about this is because of what it is. This is Project Neptune. This is the one we've been hearing about over and over again for the last 3 years.
Let me look at something right quick.
I don't understand the mindset of like, hey, yeah, you know, we've had three years of development with over 100 people working on this thing, and it's going pretty good, but we came to some disagreement, so we're just gonna kill it.
This one actually makes a little more sense to me than the Batgirl one.
Yeah,
or what they did with Discovery and HBO. But the only reason why is I know some things outside of that. Like,
right.
China's having trouble right now. One of their biggest developers, biggest hedge funds, Evergrande, went bankrupt.
Yeah.
They're having marches against the bank, give us our money back.
Yeah.
Because the banks are going bankrupt. So on the NetEase side of it, I'm kind of wondering if any of that has filtered in.
Could be.
Or down. And then on our side of it, Activision, before all the mess came out, their stock price was $104.
Right.
So you want to buy one stock is going to be $104 and some change.
Right.
And it's gone much lower. Right now, it's sitting around 80.59. Right. So they've lost, $40 off a single stock price.
Right.
That's good. So their company, that might not mean a lot to some people. That means their company is not near as valuable as it was.
Right.
Altogether. And with, don't want to get too political with it, but with what's going on in China, the problem with loans and things going out and money problems in China, I wonder if this might have been a little pressure from NetEase and Blizzard not wanting to take up. I mean, Blizzard's definitely got its own problems because they don't have the financial oomph that they had.
They got their own problems for sure.
But NetEase, this might have came from the NetEase side.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're having money problems right now. We don't want, last thing we want is to be tied to y'all.
Yeah. Could be.
Very interesting.
Could be.
It did surprise me just not to release something that's been in development for 3 years that you've poured money into.
Right.
Well,
and it's not the first time this company's done it either, which is it boggles my mind that they broke so many people and did so much terrible things on the back of all these people and then went, hey, now we're not even going to finish the thing that you worked on. The thing that we tortured you on, we're not even going to finish it now. We're just throwing it out.
Well, this is for them to reinvigorate their MMO,
Yeah.
That World of Warcraft has lost out a lot, not only from scandals and stuff, but just the player base going down over the years.
Yeah. They've settled to just copying what other MMOs are doing to try and
I kind of feel bad because there's people I know who absolutely love, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, and playing that game. They like the style, they like the cartoonishness of it, and they had something that was going to be, hey, you'll be able to play this as well, and they just kill it. I think the players, I think people who love Warcraft are kind of getting screwed over.
I agree. And this is also yet another reminder to me of the vast difference between the common working man and a company that's able to just go, nah, it's fine. We poured hundreds of millions of dollars into this. It's fine. Just throw it away.
Yeah. we can write it off.
Yeah.
We get 2 a year.
Also, just throwing this out there because, we talked about China and getting political. Taiwan's a country. Thanks. Right on. So, next up, we have, we're no longer airing in China. I wanted to end us out with something fun after that. And then this happened, and it blew my mind. So, Super Punch-Out for the NES, or the SNES, sorry, Super Punch-Out, has a secret.
That's interesting, because that's an old game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what? That keeps the thing, keeps the mythos going for it, though, because I know the secret from the original Punch-Out that nobody noticed for years and years. But I don't know this.
This is a little bit different than that. This is because of certain button combinations, you can get into. We already knew about a sound test and a Japanese name input, right?
Yeah.
Even in the US version. But there were 2 more secret button combinations that were found recently, which is at the title screen, if you hold Y and R, then press A or start, instead of the regular menu, you'll get a special character select menu where you can select any character to fight a free single match against. So you get to choose your fighter to go up against.
Good way to practice.
In this free mode, on another controller, if you hold B and Y and press A or start, you can control that character. Super Punch Out has had co-op, like not co-op. It's had single player versus. Thank you. That's the word. It's had versus multiplayer this entire time.
That's strange.
What?
What's funny though, I mean, that's the kind of secrets that came out in old school games though.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here's the original Metal Gear had a secret menu that was a music menu, so you could listen to all the music in the game.
Yeah.
There were a few of them back there for the original SNES that were like that.
Yeah.
But this is good news. I mean, it's kind of happy because it just kind of keeps going with what's I understand. I was thinking that while I was explaining. I was like, who sits around and just holds these buttons?
Right.
You know what? I'm going to hold B and Y today.
But
start.
This is really cool to me because you get just, hey, now there can be like small matches in small tournaments of people playing Super Punch Out against each other. You know, it's a brand new way to play a game that a lot of people love. And, you know, hey, maybe we'll see some cool speedrun videos of like people trying to take each other down or cool competition matches.
Man.
And we'll get some money matches out there. It's just a really cool thing. You know, I love it when stuff like that's found in games that have existed the entire time.
Yes.
Very cool. Well, that's all the news that I have for this week.
All right.
Throw it over to Rundgren's Corner.
Right. Well, I gotta say, start out as usual with a happy birthday. I'm gonna say happy birthday, everybody's favorite Hulk, Eric Banya. It's his birthday today.
Nice.
Thank you, Nightbot. I'm sure he'll catch this later. So happy birthday, Mr. Banya. I did have a story, and man. Now I've heard of people having trouble in life, and you'll hear about it on Twitter. Because they tweeted something or did something 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And we found and go, hey, this wasn't cool.
Right.
Right. So kind of a story came out of that. There's a woman in Texas, and she got married and she was trying to update her married name. And she found out while she was trying to do that, she was a criminal. So the woman's name's Karen McBride. She's 52, and she went to the DMV. She moved from Oklahoma to Texas. This will become important in a minute.
Okay.
That's where in Texas where she got married and needed to update her name. So if you had to redo your license sometime during the past couple of years, you might have had a problem, or you might have had to actually set up at like appointment and go in. Okay.
Yep.
So that's what she was doing. She called to change her driver's license to put her married name on there, and she was told, you have an issue in Oklahoma, to which she was kind of stunned. And the people here gave her the number that she needed to call to find out what the situation was, what she needed to do.
Right.
So she called that number and connected to the Cleveland County District Attorney Office and learned that she was a wanted felon.
Whoa.
She was a wanted felon. She was for felony embezzlement. Okay.
Well, all right then.
Yeah. She was wanted for felony embezzlement. Now, freaked the lady out.
Yeah.
She literally said, I thought I was going to have a heart attack when she heard this. Then she found out what the crime was when she committed. 20 years ago, she had rented, or somebody had rented a VHS tape in her name of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Good
and
job.
Didn't return it. And that is why charges were filed against her, and she was wanted, and she, of course, she had moved across state lines.
Right.
So she was now a wanted felon, a federal felon. She was charged in March 2000 for felony embezzlement of rented property. That the charges state that she did willfully, unlawfully, and feloniously embezzle a certain video cassette tape, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, of the value. Which I got to do this now because this is one of the insane parts of the value of $58.59. That's an expensive VHS tape.
It's a very expensive VHS tape. I see why they were so mad at press charges.
Yes. But like I said, she was thrown off because she didn't ever remember renting this.
Right.
And by her confession, she doesn't even like Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That's just what she said.
Right.
That's not what I'm getting a discussion to about, whether it's a good show or not. She was really probably, she said she don't like it. She don't remember renting it. She definitely didn't try to deceive anybody by taking it and keeping it. And it took her a minute to realize, but in 1999, okay, over 20 years ago, she was living with a young man. He had 2 daughters, and she thinks maybe he went and rented it for his kids. The problem is it started to dawn on her some of the problems that she had since that time, because she would get jobs and then HR would fire her or say that, she couldn't get it
because she was a felon.
Yeah. So when they did her criminal background check, they saw wanted felony embezzlement.
Right. Yeah.
Now they are getting this straightened out. She won't be a felon much longer.
That's good.
And here's the thing. She is still going to have to get a lawyer to get this felony off her record to make sure it's expunged correctly. So she's still going to have to pay out for that. That's something you have to do. If you're ever in a situation like this, even if they drop the charges, you still may want to go talk to a lawyer. Not legal advice, not anybody.
Right. Yeah.
But, and here's the thing: the store, which I'm sure some of y'all have guessed, the store that she rented Sabrina the Teenage Witch was Blockbuster.
Which doesn't even exist anymore, right?
Yes. It was a big deal, way back then, but it closed in 2008.
Yeah.
And, as a main thing, and then it kept closing stores down through 2014. I think the last store to close down was one in Alaska, like in 2016. Here's the thing though, this is not the first time this has happened.
Right. I don't doubt it.
A North Carolina man in 2016 was arrested for failing to turn in a VHS cassette he rented in 2002. And he got 14 years later. What he managed to keep though was Freddy Got Fingered. And I don't know if it's, I'd be more embarrassed about the charge or the fact that I rented that movie.
Yeah.
But he was pulled over for a busted taillight and hauled off to jail for not turning in Freddy Got Fingered. Wow. So just a word of advice. You may want to double check your closets for any old VHS tapes. You may not have.
So you can return them to the non-existent company.
You end up in the federal pen.
I'm just imagining Columbo showing up to this lady's work. You're like, I got a couple questions for you, ma'am.
You say you don't like Sabrina. The story kind of floored me a little bit. I'm like, I understand that they need to check and get their money back, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But man, this was a
point. There's got to be an exception, right? Of companies been under for more than 12 years.
Yeah, do something to figure it out. I'm going to say this is the second dumbest thing I've heard this week.
Yeah.
Or over the past couple of weeks. And it seems like it could have been handled a different way. I don't have all the answer for this, but this really seems strange to ruin somebody's life for 20 years.
Yeah.
Over a job
single VHS.
Only the second. And I might start. Well, that might get that. I don't know. That might get us in some trouble. But with Trey, I will tell you what it is if Trey's okay with it, because it is a little political, and it might sound a bias. I'm not, but it just seemed really silly.
I mean, if you're just saying it, that'd probably be fine, as long as we don't like drag the podcast into a discussion on it.
Okay, won't drag the podcast. Here's the thing: Brittany Griner got sentenced in Russia.
Yeah.
Now, my thing is, first and foremost, she is an American citizen.
Right.
And that is where we need to go from. What bugged me is having all these politicians come out and say, yeah, that, well, Russia's rules are archaic for giving her 9 years, which I think she needs to get out of Russia. I think we need to get her out. We have people here in the United States that are still on their life sentences for the 60s and 70s that are in jail.
Crime.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that just seems that seemed really stupid to me.
Yeah, I agree.
I want Brittany Griner home.
The rules
I don't care.
The rules are so archaic. Putting somebody in jail for that for 9 years. Sir?
Yeah. I'm trying to. Yeah. My bottom line is she's an American citizen. I don't care who she's attracted to, who she wants her wife to be there. I don't care what her politics are.
Right.
She's an American citizen. That's first and foremost to me.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where she needs to be. That's the ideal that we need to be taking care of this from. But just to have that come out as just a little slap in the face.
Yeah, I agree.
That's kind of hypocritical. Yeah. And yes, it's true. But that also means that you have to acknowledge that this other thing is very true.
Yeah, it's the double think that if we talk about it too long, we will get demonetized. But it's the double think that happens in this country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
also, again, since we mentioned politics, Taiwan's a country. Thanks.
Yeah. I agree with you, and I'm not. I could. Yeah. I would like to discuss some things, but
that's. I know that I'm the guy that stops us from getting political, but that's the one that I'm willing to say on this podcast in front of everybody is Taiwan's a country.
I agree with you, and I have. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, the history of that, and people do not understand it.
Right.
No, I will say this, and I'll be done because we need to wrap up. We do not have a defense agreement with Taiwan.
Right.
We are not, as a country, as the United States, we are not, by treaty, supposed to.
For sure.
We have no to defend Taiwan.
Yeah.
That's not the problem over there. I think we should, anyway. But that's not the problem over there, especially if you're going to talk about democracy and everything. Right. The problem is we do have that treaty with Japan.
Yep.
And all Japan's got to do is going, okay, well, we got to fight now.
Yep.
And I believe they will because Japan has that treaty with Taiwan.
Yeah.
So there's a chain effect for anybody that doesn't care or doesn't think we should have anything to do with Taiwan. Unfortunately, we have a treaty with Japan.
Yeah.
That makes that null and void.
Right. China won't let us speak in China. That's very true. And I do feel bad for our Chinese fans because we do have fans in China, that some of the videos I know get blocked there. And I'm sorry, but I feel like it's something that has to be said, which is it's ridiculous to me to go, hey, we don't want to accept them as a country, so nobody can say they're a country. No, they say they're a country. They're a country. What do you mean?
Did you see their last reasoning for why Taiwan is Chinese? Yeah. Because of the restaurants.
Yeah, they have Chinese restaurants there, so Yeah, who else has Chinese restaurants? Us, the UK, Canada, Mexico, Senegal. Oh, gosh. I have a weird story for you to round out today.
Oh, okay. Exciting.
This one hit my timeline on Twitter, and I could not share it with you.
Do it.
Domino's Pizza has been kicked out of Venice.
Really?
And will most likely be kicked out of the rest of the country.
What?
So they're not legally kicked out of Venice, right?
Okay.
But no place will rent them a place to set up shop in Venice, in the confines of Venice.
The algorithm.
But right. Because, and I quote, it's not real pizza. We won't let them sell here. It's not real pizza. So no place will rent them a place to set up a shop in Venice.
Wow. I believe it. I believe it.
So I expect when the other towns hear about that, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, we gotta have our Italian pride too." But
it's amazing.
That hit my timeline today, and I was like, I have to tell him this.
Holy cow! You know that's really funny because it goes into the why Taiwan is Chinese.
Yeah,
because of the restaurants.
There's the restaurants.
Fact. So apparently, everywhere there's a McDonald's,
right,
is American.
Yeah. Including China and Japan and Russia.
I find this Domino's Pizza thing really funny though, because if you ask me for a country, Italy would probably be second on the list.
Yeah.
Right. Number one would be France. Yes, France would do something like that. That's not those aren't French fries on French.
Right.
Not having them. But
it's just the pizza. Dark. It's the type of pizza. They don't like it.
Our pineapple pizza was invented by a Greek in Canada. Bam pizza was invented in Hawaii.
Yeah. It's just really funny to me that the people that make local pizzas that are way better than Domino's Pizza are like, you don't even have a tenth of our power. We're not going to rent you anything. Get out of here. We don't want your kind. You go make your cheap artificial pizzas everywhere else.
The only better answer would have been, well, nobody plays Domino's in Italy.
Right?
That would have been the perfect answer, but
I'm trying to imagine what would get kicked out around here. Like, there's not much, right? It's if somebody tried to, if there was a Mexican food place that was like very corporate, that would probably be it. But Taco Bell gets to be around here, so why not?
Well, okay, here's a weird thing, and this is one of the things I love about Texas.
I do like Taco Bell, though.
Me too. Tex-Mex is one of the best foods on the planet.
Heck yeah. Too many jalapenos for me, but heck yeah.
Yeah. Well, and if a lot of people aren't going to, and this is obvious because they voted Taco Bell the best Mexican restaurant.
Right.
And it's not. If your food has cheese on it, it's not really Mexican.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Unless it's ghost cheese. But but I love Tex-Mex.
That's true.
About 3 different cultures coming anytime.
Yeah.
Asian almost. See, this is why we need to get together.
Look, the best fast food place in the world is the Taco Bell, KFC, Pizza Hut. You walk in there and you can get such a combo meal like you will never find anywhere else that gives you a personal pan pizza, a thing of wings, chicken wings, and a burrito with a drink and a thing of cinnamon twists for $6, and it's incredible. None of the food's good.
You still got 2 other choices.
Yeah.
Choices on there.
None of the food's good, but it's such a great combo. Oh. Yeah, all those together into one item, that would be pretty. Well, we should probably wrap this up.
Absolutely.
You got any plugs, Rugred?
Yes, you will have for your Digimon Survive review and also for Dark's Digimon Survive review. I want to make sure I'll throw that out, which I think she will give her review. That will be on after our D&D podcast, Thursday. I believe. Thursday night. That's not a bad idea.
Pizza Hut had a taco pizza for a little while, and then they claimed that we bought too much of it, and so they stopped carrying it, which is like, what kind of argument is that? If people bought too much of it, then you should have made more of it. You just didn't want to sell it anymore. You want to create artificial scarcity. You can't go, well, you liked it too much, so we got rid of it. Sorry, it's your fault. Like, no, it's clearly your fault. What do you mean?
That works for the McRib and the McRib only.
Yeah, it does.
I did get compliments. I got very nice compliments on my music. It was very nice.
Awesome.
So it didn't even know me. Gave me a lot of credit.
That's cool.
Taco burgers, chilled tacos, yes.
Cool. And new subs. That's always good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 29 now. I've got 30, man. That's
nice.
Awesome. I'm closing in 1,000 views.
I was hoping the thing that I wanted to announce was done, but it's not. So I don't know if it's going to work or not. So I'm not going to announce it this week. But I might announce it Thursday, and I'll probably announce it next Tuesday if it works. But otherwise, just still stuff going up on the channel. Just stuff continues to come up. After the podcast, after I go and make me some food, and relax for a little bit, I'm gonna probably record not Taco Bell. I just read that while I was talking. I'm gonna record a Taco Bell review. No, I'm probably gonna record a video on that new Dead Cells update.
Nice.
So hopefully that'll be coming up in the next couple of days as well. But stuff goes up as it continues to do so.
Yes, sir. All right.
With all that said, though, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
We've been the Full Spectrum Podcast. Remember to check us out Thursday for D&D content, Monday for MMO content, and Tuesday for the regular podcast. And until next time, remember to always enjoy the full spectrum. Life